Welcome to Biz Dev Live. This is Cameron Toth. This is Biz Dev Live, Biz D with C. I am so excited to bring you Precious Williams today. She is the pitch killer master. She is going to show you how to talk better, speak better, present your case better. We're going to get into it right away after the theme.
Biz Dev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. Biz Dev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. Biz D with C, brought to you by Cameron T. Biz D with C, brought to you by Cameron T. This is business development, not even selling it. This is intelligent. If you watch it, I promise you benefit. Leadership and motivation, empathy and inspiration. Leadership and motivation, empathy and inspiration. Biz Dev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. Biz Dev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. Biz D with C, brought to you by Cameron T. Biz D with C, brought to you by Cameron T.
Precious Williams is a world-class master communicator who works with successful entrepreneurs and speakers to help them take their professional pitching and speaking skills to the next level. With over 25 years of experience in creating unique speaking and public speaking techniques, Williams is also known for innovative training programs and services to her clients and sales teams at Fortune 100 companies. These companies include Google, Microsoft, LinkedIn, eBay, etc. As a 13-time national business elevator pitch champion, Williams has been on top television shows and publications for her pitching, branding, and professional speaking skills. She was featured on season 8 of ABC's Shark Tank, Forbes magazine, CNN, ABC, MSNBC, Wall Street Journal, the movie Leap, as well as several others around the world. In 2019, Precious became a best-selling author of the #1 business book, Bad Bitches with Power Pitches for Women Entrepreneurs and Speakers Only, and has been featured on Times Square billboards, top podcasts, and stages around the world. Oh, I'm pressing the wrong buttons here. Here we go.
Hey,
There we go.
hey. I'm so excited to be here. That was such a dope intro.
Thanks a
That
lot.
was your pitch right there. That was a dope intro for your brand and for your show. I loved it. I was dancing backstage. Oh, we were doing this.
Yeah, the theme song is pretty cool. Thank you for that. So tell us about yourself. How do you help people? What are you doing right now? And then we'll kind of get a little bit into the background.
So, good morning, everyone. My name is Precious Williams, proud founder and CEO of Perfect Pitches by Precious. And I'm affectionately known as the hashtag killer pitch master. And what does that mean? It means that I create the most killer elevator pitches, media pitches, investor pitches, speaker pitches, and interview pitches. So if you're looking for investor dollars for your company, if you're tired of going to networking events, whether they're virtual or physical, and no one cares about your pitch, no one cares to take your card, you need to see me. If you are a speaker who's not getting paid to speak, you need to see me. And finally, when it just comes to really getting your message, you want to launch your brand, your business, your book, your product or service, and you don't know how to communicate with your audience, your target market, get people to buy, get people to feel the impact of what you're saying, you need to check me out at perfectpitchesbyprecious.com. My website is www.perfectpitchesbyprecious.com. And Cameron, what am I doing now? I have to tell you, and I'm not sure if you knew this, I won the Silver Maverick of the Year award from the Stevie Awards, and that Maverick of the Year, you can only imagine what that is. There's only 3 winners, and I took silver in a global women's competition. Not only that, I just won the Savvy Ladies Awards for the Inspiration Awards, and I've been on a lot of media in the last 2 weeks. In fact, yesterday I was on a popular YouTuber's channel, Storm Monroe, and I sold 127 books in 1 hour.
That's crazy.
So what I really do is I work with Fortune 500 companies. I work with top executives. I work with speakers and entrepreneurs to really help them. And I'm hired to help them slay all competition through powerful pitch training, powerful communication skills training, and powerful speaker training. That's what I do, and that's what I love to do.
That's awesome. So talk to us. I mean, because you're so passionate and you have so much energy and you're so driven on this. So talk to us a little bit of how you got there with this. What excites you about this? Why did you get into this? What has driven you to this point?
I swear there was a lot of questions, and I'm gonna go hard in the paint for it. So I started pitching back in 2011 when I had first left my legal career. I'm a former attorney, and I wanted to start this lingerie company because I was dating a very famous Hollywood actor who inspired me to feel good about my body, even though I was 327 pounds. And I started a company called Curvy Girls Lingerie. Yet I didn't have the money to get started. So what did I do? I literally pitched my way onto national television. My first pitch was on MSNBC's Your Business with JJ Ramberg. And from there, I got a $500,000 check to start my company. Negative $400 to $500,000. And then they told me to enter pitch competitions. And I won 13 out of 14. And I know it's hard to believe, black woman, a lot of weight on me. Everyone kept telling me, you're black, you're fat, you don't have an Ivy League degree, it will never work. But what they didn't realize is I've been a professional speaker since I was 16 years old in St. Louis, Missouri. And because I have that background, I knew that I've been speaking professionally for 25 years. And I'm shocked to say that. When you get to age where you can say 25 years, like, woo. And in the last 2 years, it has really increased because, especially during this pandemic, so many companies are reaching out because they know that the market is shifting and changing. How do they address a new market? How do they stand out in a crowded marketplace? Like, how do you, like, if you want to debut a new book, if you want to pull out something, you want to launch something, people really don't know how. Even if you had someone who just gave you the technical skills, oh, just do this on the internet, do this. Still, how do you communicate? How do you get people interested? And one of the things I'm very, very good at is getting your attention from the moment I start. So if you've ever been in a networking group with me, you will know that before I enter the room, you will feel my presence. And then when I start speaking, you're like, whoa, I've never heard anything like that. I'm not afraid to be controversial. I'm not afraid to go hard. And I'm not afraid for people to know who I am. I think being visible right now with purpose makes a big difference. We have so many people that are sitting on the sidelines watching other people make it and thinking it's not possible. Well, if you knew that 2 years ago I was homeless, would that change your mind?
Mm.
If you knew that almost 4 years ago I was a severe alcoholic and lost everything, would that change your mind about where I am today and why I have the brands that I work with, the Microsofts, the LinkedIn's, the Googles, and all of them? They don't care about that. They care about the success that I've been able to gain for them and for myself and for all of my clients.
So talk to us about the confidence there that comes with that. Because I mean, I think there's so many people out here, especially when you talk about females, especially talk about black females, especially talk about anybody that's overweight. There's that lack of confidence. People, the view, right? We're afraid of how somebody's judging us, how we appear. How are you able to kind of not think about that and do your thing?
You know what? I've been able to move past what holds most people back, and it's what other people will say, just because they've been talking about me since I was a little girl, talking about me badly. And I had to realize that I'm not the only one going through this. And that's the beautiful thing about age, is you realize they're going to talk about you, whether you're Mark Zuckerberg, whether you're Steve Jobs, whether you are Lisa Nichols, whether you are Oprah. They're going to talk about you anyway. So why don't you give them a show?
So talk to
We're
me about the just because I want to come back to that, but talk to you as a little girl. What were some of the challenges that you were facing? I know from a little bit of personal experience. I've spent the last 24 years doing college and career preparation in Harlem. I didn't grow up and have an ideal life, but obviously I'm a white man, so I don't face some of the challenges that growing up where beauty, the idea of beauty, you're not on magazine covers, you're not on commercials. There's all these things that go against the, blackball, like all these things that just define black as not cool and not beautiful. I think the world is changing in that respect, but obviously it's not changing fast enough. And you got a lot of young, especially black women that just don't feel super confident, don't feel like they're meant for greatness because of who they are, how they were born. So talk to us as a little girl and moving on beyond that. I know you've had some challenges. I want to get into some of that stuff and how you've moved past that as well, but just getting that speaking thing in early. I know as I'm raising my kids, I'm trying to raise them more confidently. How did you build that confidence?
You know what? I grew up with a mother who didn't even want me from the time I was born.
Mm.
And that has been one of the greatest challenges of my life is nothing I could do, no amount of awards, no amount of achievements work. She didn't want me. She didn't want this chocolate drop. My mother's extremely light skinned. And my father, was a drug addict. And it was very difficult to grow up knowing I just never felt the love. And that caused something in me. When I was 5 years old, I heard the voice of God. I really heard him and said, "You're going to be a talk show host. You're going to dazzle the world with just you." And in the natural, as Joel Osteen always says, in the natural, why would that even happen? I was ugly. I was young. I was silly. I was all these sort of things that nobody wanted. How could this ever happen? Well, my mother almost beat me to death on November 18th, 1991. And I was sent to go live with my father after that, after the police came, took the pictures of bruises. I was hospitalized and everything. I lived with my father and just totally disliked the experience. And just, for the first 15 years, I struggled hard, having this gift and this light in me and no one being able to really appreciate it. When I was 15, my grandparents stepped in to raise me. And although I didn't want to live with old people, it was the best decision I never made because the moment I entered that loving household, I never worried about where my next meal came from.
Mm.
I never worried about, you know, I never worried. They took care of everything. My grandmother loved me to life. Do you understand that? Like, not love me to death, love me to life. She took me from being angry and vengeful into being the most loving child. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. No one ever taught me those things. She taught me manners. And when I went into this inner city high school for the first time, I was so scared. And by the time it was over, the ugly duckling was the queen of the entire high school for an entire year. I had a parade in the city of St. Louis. Can you imagine that?
That's crazy.
I started speaking because the principal of my high school just thought I was a great speaker. And my first speech was before the mayor of the city of St. Louis. How did I gain this confidence? Because of my grandmother and my grandfather telling me every day I'm the greatest in the world at what I do. And that's how it started.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. And I think, when I'm talking to my kids, just the fact that they take for granted that they don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from and trying to raise them with an understanding of, you know, this is not the way it works all over the world for every single person. You are born lucky, and you have to really, really appreciate that. So in school, you had, I'm assuming, some good people that were helping you and mentoring you on the speaking side, right? Is that
Yes,
correct? Yeah, yeah.
yes. I had Miss Addie B. Jackson. I Miss Addie B. Jackson, and I had another teacher. I think her name was Miss Hill. For some reason, I can't remember her first name, but Miss Hill. Miss Addie B. Jackson wrote all my speeches when I was
Mm.
in high school. She wrote them all, and I just had to perform them.
That's amazing. And I love highlighting teachers because, obviously, I think we all, for folks that hold some sort of progressive stance and understand the value of education, we know that teachers need to get better compensated and better respected in society. So I love highlighting great teachers and how they actually bring out the light in the folks that they are servicing. Talk to me about, so you end up being the queen of high school,
I
uh,
was a valedictorian too.
valedictorian. Talk to us about how you moved from there on to business and getting into the entrepreneurship, and how did you move from a educational environment to a business environment?
Well, thank you for asking me that. So I had a full scholarship to Spelman College, graduated in 4 years from 1997 to 2001. Then I had a full scholarship to Georgetown University Law Center, so where I would have been a Hoya lawyer, but I got kicked out in 2002. Then I started at Rutgers School of Law,
All right, now
Newark.
you just skipped over getting kicked. What was that
Oh
all
yeah,
about?
because I know that's a different story for a different day. But the truth is, when I was at Georgetown, I felt so insecure about myself. My father and my mother and my grandparents weren't diplomats. They didn't come from a certain society, and so I felt and this is what I failed to realize is the fact that I was in the room meant I was supposed to be there. So they had every advantage, and I didn't. And here I was, and I didn't even realize it at the time. I felt insecure that I just didn't have what everyone else around me seemed to have. I was a scholarship student, and here I thought it was a stain on me. So I went away on my birthday, January 22nd, 2002, and came back on March 15th, 2002. First of all, you can't do law school if you miss 2 months. I can tell you that right now. So they disenrolled me. They had no way of getting in contact with me. I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have credit cards. So they didn't know if something bad had happened or whatever. So I was disenrolled.
Yeah,
So when I
higher
say kick,
education, just sorry to interrupt, but higher education, so much of what we sort of picture in terms of college, you need a support system. You need folks that are in your corner. You need help. And I love the realness of, like, my education was horrible, which is why I've spent the last 24 years dedicated to college and career, because I didn't finish high school. I had to get my GED. I had, a couple of years of college. I had a kid at 19 and dropped out. You need the support system. You need folks taking care of you, and it's hard to do without that support and the background that sort of
definitely.
builds that support system, and reinforcing the ideas of good judgments and good decisions all the way through. And when you make a bad decision, somebody there to help pick you back up and say, here's $20 to go get this. And if you don't have that, it's really tough. It's really, really tough for anybody. Yeah, keep going. I'm sorry.
You have never lied. And so
Yeah.
then I got a full scholarship to Rutgers Law School in New Jersey and had a nervous breakdown on April 12th, 2004. So I'm thinking maybe I'm just not smart enough to do law school.
Wow.
Well, after spending 3 months in the psych ward at Newark Beth Israel Hospital, came out. The donor who gave me my scholarship said, "You're going to make it through." And was he right? I finished on December 15, 2006, took the February 2007 bar, passed it, became an attorney in the great state of New York. So I passed on my first try, did the law thing for a while, wound up hating it just because it just, like, 40 years of just being a litigator just sounded boring to me. And if you know anything about me, y'all know I'm energy. I can't just do the same cases I couldn't. And I had just left a 7-year relationship with a man I'd known since high school. And then I met a very famous Hollywood actor on a dating site, and the rest is history. I wanted to start a company that celebrated what he brought out of me. I wanted to make sure that curvy women knew that they mattered and that there were over 40 million women, size 14 or larger, in the United States just like me, and we all wanted pretty underwear. And it's just too bad that no one made it. And so that's what got me to start pitching, because I had no other options. I couldn't ask friends and family who didn't have that kind of money. And all I knew, God kept saying, "You're going to be on television." At 327, in the natural makes no sense. In the supernatural, it all happened.
Well, I love the idea of abundance too, which I think is something that you're speaking to, is that, your ideas are important, right? Your ideas, my ideas, anybody that's watching this, you have amazing ideas, and there's a whole bunch of people. And, nowadays, we're just a couple of videos away from touching somebody that really needs your service. So I love that idea, like, hey, I'm going to get this together and move to it. And you had the confidence to do that. That's amazing. So talk to us about the progression from lingerie to that killer pitch master here.
How did I become the killer pitch master from lingerie? So that happened. It was so crazy. So I had to leave my legal career for a while because you can't do it all. But in 2016, after I appeared on Shark Tank, after, I'd been in a lot of different shows and movies and stuff like that, I those old insecurities popped up again. Who am I? I'm not like everybody else who's on television. I don't look like they do. People are eating me alive on social media. They're saying all these horrible things, and it broke me. But not only that, the love of my life died. That actor died.
Mm.
And so I became a severe alcoholic. I lost everything, and it's funny when I talk about it. Sometimes I'm emotionless, and sometimes I'm very emotional. But I started Perfect Pitches by Precious because people, every time they saw me on stage, they could not get enough, and they were like, "How are you able to just do that? You captivate a room." And I was like, I didn't think I could teach it. But I took on 10 beta clients because I'm leaving money on the table. Maybe I am good. And they all won their competitions. And then, back in 2016, when my whole world crashed, I became homeless and everything. And so I went into a life transformation program for 2 years. So I was quiet for 2 years. No, I was never on social media or anything. When I came out in 2018, I came out with a vengeance. Like you would have thought I was Beyonce on like Beyonce times 10. Like when she's on stage, that's Beyonce times 10. That's Sasha Fierce. You can call me Precious Fierce. And I was determined to get corporate clients. I was determined to do a lot of things, but I was determined to do it not to prove anybody else wrong, but to prove that the God in me was right. And God told me to do it differently. And it changed everything. So, as much as people like my accomplishments, I love the woman that I am today.
Yep.
Flaws and all, no six pack, just a little chubby girl wonder. And I embrace that. And one of my business coaches always says this always: when you step into your purpose, you give another woman or man permission to step into theirs.
Yeah.
So for all of us who feel deeply flawed, not pretty enough, not tall enough, not skinny enough, not any of this, welcome to the club. Most people aren't like the people in the magazines. So you're giving them hope that they can achieve their dreams too.
Yeah, I love that. And I particularly love, I don't know if you consume Gary Vaynerchuk's content, but the idea that don't listen to the stuff that people are, don't listen to the compliments, don't listen to the horrible stuff they say. You stay who you are. Obviously, it's nice to get a fun compliment, but so many people get started in social media. I know I don't get a lot of horrible comments. I don't know if that's just because of the content or because I occupy the space of white male, whatever, or I'm just ignoring it. I don't know if I just don't hear. But anyways, I don't know I'm here, but I don't listen to the compliments either because I know. I got 140 subscribers. I was complimenting you. You're doing well on YouTube. Over 1,000 subscribers. Go check out Precious on YouTube. I got the link. I don't know. Is there a word? Is it Precious Williams on YouTube?
It's Precious L. Williams on YouTube.
Beautiful, because I know I got it and I just grabbed the gobbledygook link, but I know that there's probably that. So Precious L. Williams, if you go there on YouTube, you'll find her. I know it was easy enough for me to find you just going through the search bar. You're doing an awesome job there. Having that ability to sort of just put yourself out there is amazing. I know you're captivating me right now with your story. I love it. That idea of what people can do in terms of selling themselves and putting that pitch out there. Talk to us a little bit about, you talked about you were quiet. 2018, you come back. You've been able to do so much. I know I've seen you all over the place in the last year or so. Talk to us about your ability to get your words out there and your vision out there. How are you doing that? What are the things that inspire you to do that? Who are the people that are helping you to do that?
Though that again, you ask a whole lot of questions and I love it. So when I came back into the world in 2018, September 2018, I decided that I wanted to speak again. And so I got my first speaking engagement from Bottomless Closet, which is a nonprofit organization that helps women get back on their feet and get top jobs and get the right clothes and accessories and everything, interview skills and stuff like that. It was standing room only when I walked in. And do you know, I did such a good job that Bottomless Closet told Viacom to work with me. Viacom, I know, Viacom, MTV, VH1, all of them. And I spoke at their Smart and Sexy Day, and it brought tears to my eyes that I was looking at women who may have been formerly homeless, formerly addicted, formerly been abused, and here I am on the other side. And I'm at Viacom, which led to a campaign with Smart and Sexy Lingerie, and then just changing my network. Instead of being in a network where I felt comfortable, I wanted to be uncomfortable. I wanted to be in networks where I am not the bright light, somebody else is, and I'm learning how to
Yeah.
get better and better. And being in these different networks taught me. I thought I was great at pitching before, but I'm even better now. And one of the things I've started to learn is it's not about how great I am at all. What pain points does your audience really have? Not the ones you think they have. Why don't you ask them? Why don't you pose questions? And that'll help give you social media content. That'll help give you course offerings. That'll help give you speaking topics because you're actually speaking their language instead of the language you think they want to hear. I have a law degree. Imagine if I talked to them from a high place all the time. There would be no connection. I had to get down in the trenches. Also, What is my secret sauce? What do I do better than anyone else? Instead of telling you from a textbook how to be a great speaker or just listening to a guru, I learned in 25 years. I am a 13-time national champion, which means that I've stood in your place 14 times and was judged top 13 times. My first pitch got me on national television. Most people will be happy if they got in the New York Daily News, which I'll take right now. And here I went national first because I didn't have rules. No one told me how to do things. I just intuitively knew how to structure pitches. I knew how to get to people. People say, "Oh, well, do you call people?" I'm like, "No, because I'm always meet the gatekeeper." But if I can check out the structure of the organization, I know who to contact. And even if I don't get that person, let's say you send out 100 and you only hear from 15, you better work those 15 like you ain't ever worked nothing in your life. You don't need 100 people to love you. You only need the right ones. And once I started getting on people's radars, it was amazing. So, of course, when you go on LinkedIn and when you go on Google, what do you start off with? Oh, who you are, what you do, target market, um, your secret sauce, and then your powerful call to action. That's great. But a lot of us will make it so boring. I want you to come out of your shell and give them a show. And I'm not saying even if you're an introvert, there are ways you can be the quiet storm and draw people to you and draw them to you. At the end of the day, you have to have a compelling story. And I don't mean a sob story. I don't mean a story that doesn't have triumph in it. I mean, you have to be able to identify. I know what it's like to have no money, no food, no nothing. I couldn't pay PR. But let me show you what I did to get here. No fluff, no BS. I know what it's like to have doors slammed in my face because I became homeless. So you know what I did? I built my stuff up brick by brick. And I wanted to make sure that people knew you dissed me before, you'll see me again.
I like that. One of the things that I think I struggle with in trying to help people when I'm in that position of mentorship, uh, having that real story, because I think folks that don't come from extreme challenges think that their challenges aren't a big deal and they're not worth
We are.
talking about it. I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to include it. So what they end up telling is this kind of very vanilla story of their origin, and it really just doesn't come across as real. But I really respect when somebody says, well, my daddy gave me $100,000 and I did this and and I really struggled with it, and this is my journey and this is where it is, versus just success, because everybody falls. And I think that understanding of how we get into these challenges, into these situations, and get ourselves backed up. I mean, every entrepreneur is out there solving a problem, right? So problems are a part of not only who we are, but it's about our businesses, right? It's about our
Right.
models, right? So we go out and we solve problems. Every entrepreneur does. So I really respect and appreciate that you provide the detail, provide the graininess of, like, these are the challenges that I'm dealing with. This is how I help people. How can people improve their pitches? Talk to us about folks that are out there networking, folks that are out there trying to sell more of their product or service. What should they be focusing on? If they can't afford to hire a coach, how can they get themselves to that point where they can afford a coach, a mentor, somebody that can provide help on their pitches?
Number one, don't be afraid to reach out to your network for people who can be mentors. Number two, and I promise this isn't a selfish plug, but my book Bad Bitches and Power Pitches is a great place to start to figure out what is your pitching persona. There are 7 of them. What's your pitching persona? And then you have the workbook where you start crafting those pitches based on your specific persona. Are you unstoppable? Are you creative? Are you funny? Are you about numbers? What are you about? Like, and you'll learn that in these books. Third, you have to be a master storyteller. And this goes back to what Cameron was just talking about. You don't have to have the sob story. You really don't. But all of us have struggled. What did you struggle with and how did you make your way out of it? Even if you're 5 steps ahead, you're 5 steps ahead of most people. So you can plot backwards to teach them how. You have to be bold and unexpected. You ever notice the people we talk about the most in media are the people you keep seeing all the time? You have to resolve in your mind to be more visible. Even if you're an introvert, you don't have to be making videos, but you can give people a glimpse into what it is that you do. What are backstage behind the scene things are you doing? What things are you proud of? What things scare you? What things are you struggling with? People want to know that you're beyond, you're not just what they see on social media, that you hurt too and you need support and guidance. And that has been the world to me. The more I told my story, the more I told about, how I was able to overcome it all from a place of triumph, not despair, from a place of triumph, people really understood me. And it wasn't like, oh, she's another hustler using a sob story. No, I'm not a hustler using a sob story. It's my story. And while you're talking badly about me, you're still watching me.
There
And
you
I don't
go.
know who you are.
Yeah.
And then when you really, really think about it, your perceived flaws are your secret weapon. Age, race, class, sex, gender, sexual orientation, ability, differently able. That's your secret weapon, whether you believe it or not. The fact that I'm a Black woman with confidence, the fact that I'm a Black woman who has some weight on her, the fact that I'm a Black woman, I don't get intimidated by nobody. I've been in far too many rooms with the glitterati, the best in business, the biggest celebrities, whether they're on internet. I've been in these rooms, and I see that everyone has insecurities. So all of these, your perceived flaws are really your secret weapon because they never see you coming. I get dismissed early, and then when I take that stage or when I stand in my power, it's like, ooh, ooh. So what you bring to the table, you have to know who you are is more important than what you do. If the only thing you can talk about yourself is I'm a lawyer, I'm a graphic designer, I'm this. No, I'm the killer pitch master, but I'm still a curvy gal about town. I'm the female MacGyver of business. There's so much more to me. And people don't buy me because I'm just a killer pitch master. They buy me because they know that they're going to benefit from my years of experience in overcoming every obstacle thrown my way. Any and every one. You need to make sure people know you.
I see so many folks, especially on the entrepreneurship side, where they're hiding. You
Yes.
go to their website and they have their service and their name isn't even on the website, right? It's like contact us. There's no really about, it's like it's just it's so generic. And I think like most people want to work with a person. I want
Yes.
to talk to a person. I want to have a relationship with a person, not with a company, but with a person. And when I have that, I'm so much more likely to buy, patron, all that kind of stuff. So I love that kind of bringing, like, let's not hide. Let's be out there. Let's be visible. Convincing a lot of people of that, though. I talk about TikTok and I talk about, the power of YouTube, LinkedIn being a great place right now organically. And LinkedIn is built like you're a person, you're out there, that sort of the beginning. And so you're throwing your resume out there, your experience, referrals. That's an organic place where you can get a lot of traffic right now. TikTok is an organic place where you can get a lot of traffic. Facebook is sort of a more closed community. Instagram is harder to be Insta famous these days, especially if you're not, Will Smith or, somebody that already has a tremendous following, right? Talk to me about how you're staying visible on these platforms and what you recommend to people in terms of putting themselves out there and putting content out there.
Well, in order to really get out there on social media, you have to have a position. You have to have a specific, you have to create noise and buzz about you. So if you ever notice my social media, I'll take you behind the scenes of what things look like. I'll come on with no makeup, half a tooth. Like I'll come on with my hair not done. Like there's certain things you're going to notice about me. Like every day I don't look like this. This is just being cute for Cameron. But at the end of the day, what is your position on things? Like I'm the killer pitch master. I wrote a book called Bad Bitches and Power Pitches. Some of the things that I write are going to have curse words in it, not to be crass, but to really show you I'm unafraid. You gonna come for me? Meet me in a dark alley at night at 2 o'clock in the morning. You want to battle me? Battle me then. No wig, no makeup, no nothing. I'm going in with you. I know who I am. And so my job and your job is to make sure that people know you. Sometimes you don't. Take a position on your industry. It could be, I prefer for it to be a little slightly off from what everybody else thinks because the minute they zig, you zag. And when you by zagging, people are like, well, what's making her different? Why does she look at it from a totally different perspective? And now you're creating a following behind you. When I wrote this book, Bad Bitches and Power Pictures, so many people told me no one would buy this book. They gave me respectability politics as a Black woman. And I knew that this is a pitch in and of itself. Even if you don't read the book, just having it means something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just having it. And so men have bought my book. Kids have read my book. And let me just say this. I didn't know little kids were reading my book. And I mean like 9 and 10, because there's so much in there that's not curse words. It's really about building your speaking career, building up your business. But the title, as you all know, will sell it. If you ever look at a newspaper, you ever looked at the headlines, there's a specific reason they want you to read that. If you go on social media, what are the proper hashtags that'll have people coming from different angles just because they're familiar with that hashtag? All of that's important, but you must take a stand. You must. It can't be milk toast. It can't be lukewarm. You must take a stand and then stand in it.
I love that. And I think one of the reasons that we have such a challenge on the political spectrum is that one certain party has learned how to get those headlines and create fear and drive the conversation a lot better than some of the progressives and folks that are, we spend so much time fighting amongst ourselves and how to get the message out the right way that the message just isn't getting out. And so turning that and flipping it on its head and using it for you, I think is an amazing thing.
You've got to be proactive, not reactionary. You lose when you're reactionary. I promise you. When you bring every single emotion into things, people will tune you out. This is what I'm saying in the political realm. I'm not saying that in everything, but in the political realm. And I feel like as a pitch master, I'm looking at the way people talk. I'm looking at the way articles are put out, the headlines and everything. And I'm like, I can see how this is going. You either are going to be proactive or you're going to be reactionary. I'd rather be proactive. Come for me. You can come for me, but I'm gonna send for you.
We're gonna have Precious back here, and we're gonna get into some other topics because I feel like we got the history, but there's a lot more for us to talk about. I know I have LinkedIn down below in the description. I have YouTube. I'll make sure to put a link in there as well for the book. Go out and buy Precious's book. I want you to kind of have the last word here. I'll let you say goodbye to everybody, Precious, but talk to people about how you would like to. I know you dropped the website before. You can do that again. How you want people to connect with you, how you want to connect with folks, and who are people that you're trying to connect with right now.
Okay. So to get in contact with me, you can go to my website, www.perfectpitchesbyprecious.com. That's www.perfectpitchesbyprecious.com. You can also go to LinkedIn. I am Precious L. Williams, Killer Pitchmaster. That's LinkedIn. On Twitter, I am at Perfect Pitch P. On Facebook, I am at Perfect Pitch P. On Instagram, I am at Perfect Pitches P. On YouTube, I am Precious L. Williams. If you go to my website, you'll see different ways that you can work with me. I do one-on-one, I do group speaking engagements, digital and online training. You can check all of those out. And if you want to get my book, you can go to my website, www.perfectpitchesbyprecious.com. Go to the Work With Me tab. Go to the bottom and you will see both books there. I'm also working on my third book called The Bad Bitches Playbook. It's going to be coming out in April 2021. And most importantly, don't be afraid to be bold. Fortune favors the bold. If you've been sitting on the sidelines watching everybody else and getting angry, get in the game. Because people in the game respect other people who are in the game. What they say, game recognizes game. So get in the game with us, and we'll show you how to really get there. I am the Killer Pitchmaster. I'm affectionately loved for what I do. I am hired to help you slay all competition. And my name is Precious L. Williams, and I'm the proud founder and CEO of Perfect Pitches by Precious. Thank you so much, Cameron, for having me on your show.
You're awesome.
Biz Dev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. Biz Dev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. Biz D with C, brought to you by Cameron T. Biz D with C, brought to you by Cameron T. This is business development, not even selling it. This is intelligent. If you watch it, I promise you benefit. Leadership and motivation, empathy and inspiration. Leadership and motivation, empathy and inspiration. Biz Dev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. Biz Dev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. Biz D with C, brought to you by Cameron T. Biz D with C, brought to you by Cameron T.